Hi, Stevo again. I was talking to some friends lately about the police officer Derek Chauvin that killed George Floyd, and we're going to have a trial of George Floyd in March in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, and I'm pretty sure that Derek Chauvin's going to, they're going to have a hearing of Derek Chauvin, the man that put a knee to George Floyd's neck. And I assume that the trial will probably last a long time. And it's pretty cut and dry with the video. There was a 17-year-old black girl that took the video of the death of George Floyd in May. I'm from Minneapolis, and I know the neighborhood where the death of George Floyd happened on Chicago Avenue, and it's a neighborhood, and maybe the Fox News people would say, oh, it's a black neighborhood, an inner city neighborhood, where George Floyd died, and what I've heard is they're doing some positive things in the neighborhood where George Floyd died on Chicago, and I think it's about a mile or so from West Lake Street, if you know anything about Minneapolis, South Minneapolis. And it's pretty much of a cut and dry trial, and because there was a 17-year-old black girl that took the infamous video of the death of George Floyd, and it affected her. It affected her. A lot of people said, well, why didn't you do anything about it? Well, she's 17 years old. There were a lot of other people that were there too. There was a white girl who tried to stop the police. There were 5 police. There was a white girl who was a paramedic or something like that. And I talked to her friend, and she was just so upset about the situation with George Floyd. And she tried her best to stop the death of George Floyd. Mind you, Chauvin put his knee to Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 40-something seconds. And there were people that watched his death, other than the 17-year-old black girl that took the footage, the infamous footage. There was a black guy that was calling Chauvin a bunch of names, which Chauvin deserved. And Chauvin looked very glassy-eyed, and it's a very horrid footage for any human being to watch. And it broke my heart that this white lady tried her best to tell Derek Chauvin to get off his neck. So there were people that were there that watched George Floyd die. White, black, and Middle Eastern people of the community that tried their best to, if you hear people arguing in the background in the infamous footage, and it's sick shit. And it's a cut and dry trial. And maybe it's not worth talking about Derek Chauvin because he's a scumbag. I'm not saying all police are scumbag, but this guy is a scumbag. He's a scumbag. And as a black man, I hate talking about police. I don't want nothing to do with police. With my age, I don't like being stopped by police. I try to avoid them. I'm a tall guy. I'm a big guy. And I guess police leave me alone because I am a big guy. I'm not saying I'm a badass or anything like that. I'm not a badass. I guess I'm lucky that police leave me alone. because since I'm of a mixed race, they try to figure out what my race is. But I'm a dark skinned person, so what does it matter? But it's but anyways, I've had issues with police, but probably not as much as full-blooded African Americans in my community, and Derek Chauvin was born to, parents who broke up when he was young, and he was kind of a loner. And I think he joined the military, and then once he left the military, he decided to join the police academy. And he pretty much was a loner. Pretty much kept to himself. And then he became a police officer, a Minneapolis police officer. And he married a beautiful Asian woman who was married before, had a kid that wasn't Derek's. And she was kind of a beauty pageant winner or whatever. And I think she is in the real estate business. And when Derek Chauvin got many demerits from I guess people of color through the years that he was very violent with. So there is history that Derek Chauvin was violent towards people of color. And that's the thing. These police, they get demerits, for being very violent towards people of color, and they don't get they don't get fired, they don't get reprimanded or anything, because they have a union. They have, and I believe in unions. I sincerely believe in unions, but the police unions are very corrupt, even though I do believe in police unions, and I believe in unionizing as many jobs as possible. They're very corrupt, and they're always on the side of the police. Whatever the police do, they protect the police job. They're a very strong union, and they're always on the side of the police, whatever they do. How many people that they kill, and some of these people didn't deserve to die, it's in the hands of police. So anyways, Derek Chauvin got a house in Florida, got a summer house in Florida with his wife and so on, and so but he did work part-time as a security guard at this club on, I guess, Chicago Avenue. And there was one woman that owned the club that said Derek Chauvin, when black people would go there, Derek Chauvin was very confrontational with the black males. He was very confrontational with them, and the woman was having issues with Derek Chauvin and the way Derek Chauvin treated black men at this club. He was very over the top with these black guys at the club. So he did part-time work as a security guard at this club. And I guess it was found out that when Derek Chauvin had his summer place in Florida, he voted for Donald Trump in 2016, which is illegal since he is a police officer in Minneapolis. It's illegal to vote for someone in one state and you live in another. It's illegal. So they can get Derek Chauvin for that. And I there's some weird thing that his wife left him, and his wife divorced Derek Chauvin when he got arrested, and there was some allegations that Derek Chauvin hid some money from the police, that they had some untaxable money that they found when Derek Chauvin was arrested for George Floyd murder. So he's in deep shit. He's in deep shit with voting in Florida, which is illegal, and hiding money, untaxable money, that his wife helped him hide. And there's something, sinister about that. So he's a scumbag. Derek Chauvin is a fucking scumbag. He's a scumbag. I mean, he's probably the most hated police officer in the United States. He's the epitome of corruption, of police corruption. And they're going to have the trial starting in March. If anyone that lives in other parts of the United States and they're able to travel, able to have enough money to travel, they could travel to Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis. Again, if you don't know anything about Minneapolis, find out. But the trial will be in the government center in downtown Minneapolis in March. And I believe Keith Ellison, a very good politician and a very good lawyer, is going to be one of the head prosecutors of the George Floyd trial. And if anybody saw the video of the death of George Floyd, it's basically cut and dry. It's basically standard. And the other 4 people that were aided and abetted the death of George Floyd, they're probably going to snitch on Chauvin. So Chauvin's in deep shit. He's in, he's in deep shit. And like I always say, when he goes to prison, don't drop the soap, son. Don't drop the soap. The worst thing in the world is a corrupt cop in a prison. That's the worst thing in the world. And I would like people who believe in justice and humanity to be very supportive of the situation with George Floyd, the George Floyd trial. And I have great respect for people that joined in the George Floyd protests, and I thank them very much that they didn't believe in Donald Trump's lies and all that stuff, and they were very active in George Floyd protests last summer. So that's basically all the things I know about Derek Chauvin and the situation. And we need to vote. And when you do vote in November, think of George Floyd, in homage of George Floyd. And thanks a lot for caring. We don't need a person like Donald Trump. We don't need a person like the Trump turds. We don't need hate. We need love. And I thank a lot of the American people who love. I thank a lot of American people of all races who love each other. And the white people who joined Black Lives Matter, I have great respect for, and my love for them. And so again, I just want people to vote, American people, as much as American people, to vote as possible in November. And I'm just going to keep my eye on the trial in March. It's pretty cut and dry. So thanks a lot, and take care of yourselves.